Kaina of the Great Snow Sea Season 2 certainly is one of the most awaited sequels of the current year. With the recent season ending this March, the hype for the latest season continues to be high for everyone. Polygon Pictures has never failed to bring amazing shows to the floors. And for the recent slates, this show brought an interesting twist to the lineup. With this, all of the internet is asking questions about the next season. So, without taking much of your time, here is everything you need to know about the show. First, starting as a manga on February 26th, 2022, this high fantasy story is one of the most interesting storylines that has been released so far. In addition, the anime was animated by Polygon Pictures that was released on January 12th, 2023. In such a short period of time, there have only come 2 volumes of the text. Now, there is only the wait for Kaina of the Great Snow Sea Season 2 for the fans. Fans were not expecting such a small run to a show as good as Kaina of the Great Snow Sea. For a small frame of reference, the first season started airing on January 12th, 2023. And as the 11 episodes came to a halt, the last one came out on March 23rd, 2023. Well, in a lot of cases, the makers tend to announce or tease the new season. The plot was undoubtedly complete on its own, but there is still hope for the next one to be coming out. Surprisingly, the movie project got its announcement early on. But there is no need for the fans to fret, as the makers have not cancelled Kaina of the Great Snow Sea Season 2 either. There are all the chances of the show to come back to the screens. Here's an analysis of how soon the fans can expect the new season to arrive. For a high fantasy, Oyukumi noKaina has been an exceptional show. Not only were the episodes of the show topping all the charts, but the overall rating of the show is also an example of the same. There sure is a pool of fans wanting the show to bring Kaina of the Great Snow Sea Season 2. As for the official ratings of the show, the IMDb score of the show has been as high as 6.5 stars out of 10. The MyAnimeList scores of the show also continue to climb high up the ranks. The current ratings of the show are as high as 6.7 stars out of 10. These numbers might be low due to the quality of the animation of the show. However, the number of fans engaging with the show has been high continuously. Thus, there is no doubt about the fact that the next season will come back to the screens. In addition, there is a certain demand for Kaina of the Great Snow Sea Season 2 on the official slates. In light of the same, the chances of the show coming back continue to be high. It was the Polygon Pictures animation company that was behind the production of the first season. And if everything goes right with the show, this company is expected to animate the next one as well. Polygon is considered to be one of the best-known and most dynamic animation companies of recent times. The company was founded in July 1983. However, the operations began much later. The list of shows that have come out from this banner is extensive. And from the history of the show, there have been more than hundreds of shows that have been released so far. The company has not released more than 1 to 2 shows within a year. And for 2023, Kaina of the Great Snow Sea is the only show that came out of this year. Thus, there are fewer chances that this will come out anytime soon. In addition, even 2024 is lined up with the next release. Thus, any chance of Kaina of the Great Snow Sea Season 2 will only come out after the release of the movie in 2023's fall. A new movie project was announced as soon as the first season ended. Course. On January 7th, 2023, a sequel anime movie was greenlit by the company. Titled The Kaina of the Great Snow Sea Star Sage, this'll be the sequel to the original plot of the anime. After this, the plot will be continued for the next season. And the judgment of the movie has a lot to do with the renewal of the next season. If the movie does well on the slates, there is a high chance that it will get to see a new season. Moreover, even the plot of Kaina of the Great Snow Sea Season 2 depends on the incoming of the movie. Thus, it will be interesting to see what the reception and plot lines of the story look like. A quick glance at the list of volumes of the manga will tell us that there is a certain lack of content for a new season. For context, Kaina of the Great Snow Sea manga is one of the most recent fantasy manga. The first chapter came out on February 26, 2022. And so far, only 2 volumes of the text have come out in the story so far. As a result of this, only some of the content was used in the anime, leaving only some chapters for the rest of the story. However, what is more concerning is the fact that the movie was animated way ahead of its time. There is next to no content left for the movie. As a result of this, there was a silver lining for the fans. Since the makers are willing to develop an original plot for the movie, they might also extend the writing for the next season as and when it comes. It will be interesting to see what the movie and the other plot look like when it is released. The overall plot of Kaina of the Great Snow Sea anime revolves around the titular character, but the world around Kaina is completely different from the one that we have seen. They all live in a world where the surface is covered with some kind of membrane. But far below the surfaces of the canopy, there lives a country that is struggling to battle the snow as well as the rival nation. This is the endless snow sea, where everything is estranged from the residents. A leap of faith via Kaina of the Great Snow Sea, pic.twitter.com/siacixxgh. But Princess Ririha was desperate to save her country and the men of the town. As a result of this, she travels to the upper layers of the canopy to find some help and hope for her country. The story progresses, and we see that Kaina and Ririha cross paths, only to find an interesting route here. What comes next is the journey to and around the world that no one was expecting. By the end of the season, we see that Kaina is able to recreate the map of Atland again. With the help of the new ship, they could also reach the Great Orbital Spire Tree. But reaching here is only the tip of the iceberg for the people. From this point on, a different journey for Kaina and Ririha is to begin. The rest of the show will be looking at the plot that follows the movie. Nothing concrete can be said until there are more hints on what the film brings to the table. In conclusion, any kind of information would only come out with the release of the movie projected. Expected to follow the same plot, the movie will be one of the highest grossing stories of 2023. Only after that would there be any detail on the speculation of its release date. The highest bids are on the summer 2024 slate. However, any confirmation is yet to come to the table. We will be sure to update this section as soon as there is any more detail on this. Thus, keep an eye on the Anime Daily for all the updates.